I'm here, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, real quick, why don't you tell people your thoughts behind this training series, what we're doing, and how we're making this all-inclusive with special guests, leaders from across the field.
Yeah, absolutely, everybody. Hey, welcome, everybody. I'm Steve Swartz, and I am excited to be here. I'm calling in from Carlsbad, California. And if we have anybody else on the line, we'll just mute them up a little bit, and we'll be good to go. The series for ARIIX University basically is a training series for anybody to get real-world training from us. I'm actually starting a podcast, which means that you'll be able to download that on SoundCloud, download it onto iTunes, and have, I'm not sure I'm going to commit to daily yet because that's kind of brutal, but I'm going to be having Woodson and I, we're going to be interviewing different leaders and also just giving you, tactics, mindset, all of those different things. That's what we're going to be doing with this, and we're going to kick it off every Saturday with also with a webinar, so you guys and gals can have access to it. So I want to bring Woodson on, a strong leader in our company. We work well together, and so that's it. And this is kind of the agenda. So I don't know if you want to cover the agenda real fast, Woodson, what we're going to do every week, but here you go.
Okay, here's what we're going to do every week. We're going to build tools that you can always have anyone on your team. If they're brand new in the business, 24 hours, seasoned veteran, anyone can come in through any of these training series and they're always going to learn about why network marketing, why ARIIX, highlighted testimonials along with a highlighted brand. So it's going to be something different. We're going to change it up, how to get customers, how to get reps, and then an action plan. We're going to give you a different business tool that you can use every single week to promote and help your business. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and you need to be connected and plugged in because whether it's a testimonial, a business tip, whatever, it is going to be different every week, and it might be the one thing that triggers something you can really identify with, run with, or take back to your team. So we really want everyone to get a lot out of this. So basically, network marketing fits the new economy. The new economy pays for performance. If you haven't noticed, everything is becoming performance-based. The old way of doing business is antiquated for a reason. People become complacent and they just lollygag around for a paycheck. It kills commerce, it kills business, it kills a lot of people from being able to step out with new innovations. So network marketing, the entire basis is level playing field. You get rewarded for your efforts, your work ethic, and how well you instill that and help coach up and encourage other people. Steve, what do you want to add to this? Because I think this is huge. You're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, well, I'm just got to, I think about this. We could go so many different directions, Woodson, on this. It's we could spend a whole hour just on this. And you guys should be proud of what you're doing here. This is a profession. This is a business that can completely set you free. There's very few businesses that actually have a residual aspect to them. I mean, there's really hardly any that actually do that. And I'll just, Listen, I did everything you're supposed to do. I went to college. I was playing sports, hung up the cleats, as far as football goes. And then, I went to school. I didn't just go get a job. I actually got a commission in the U.S. Army. So I became an officer. I did that for like almost 7 years on active duty, got out, and then what were my options? And I was trying to, so then I went in corporate America. I went and worked for a big company, Dell Computer. And I got to tell you, it was horrible. I remember standing in the factory at Dell, just sitting there going, man, how do I get out of this? I'm going to, I felt like I was out of control. I didn't have control of my income. And then they started doing layoffs and all of those things. And I saw people spending their whole lives in corporate. I have seen people, that have been in corporate America for 20-something years doing stuff that I know if you ask them, really pull them aside, maybe have that bar-side conversation, they would say, you know what, I absolutely hate this. And I've been doing this type of work for 20 years, and now I finally made it up to a six-figure income, and they're kicking me off. And so, that is, just from that aspect. I mean, even the company that I worked at, Dell, their factory's now in Mexico. So all those jobs went away. So you know what? You have to take charge of yourself, and that's what network marketing allows you to do. And that's what I love about it. So that's one of the major reasons why to do network marketing, provides you the vehicle, and it allows you to build an income around your job, around whatever you're doing, and then eventually quit it like I did over a decade ago. So
But that's incredible. Okay, let's talk about that. We're going to piggyback on that because I have always understood the best business plans involve relationships. Referrals, networking, and relationships are what build dynasties. You can ask any CEO, you can read Robert Kiyosaki, whatnot. They work within their network. When they are looking to fill a high-powered position, they do not put an ad in the paper. They start digging through a network. And so we now have stats to back this up. Look at this. Word of mouth advertising. So many people are trying to build this business hiding behind a keyboard. It does not work that way. If that were the way that it worked, every hermit on the planet would be a billionaire. So I'm telling you right now, here's the deal. I want you to look at these stats, okay? We're not saying don't do anything online. We're saying when you do work online, do it in a way that is effective. So Steve, talk through these stats because this was mind-boggling to me, and these are real stats.
Well, everything is going to be word of mouth. I mean, if you're, I mean, just think about it. Whether you, just think of anything, even on, gosh, I don't know why I thought of these people, but you know, I'm not going political on you, but I mean, think about it. Oprah Winfrey, word of mouth, promoted who? Barack Obama. I mean, give me a break, right? Like totally word of mouth, right? From knowing it wasn't an online ad. Oh, here, go watch this. You know,
it was
always going to be about the, what's that?
Yeah, it was total recommendation, endorsement. This is what I believe in. This is somebody you need to listen to. No, it's across the board.
Completely that way, and that's the first thing I thought. I don't know why I thought of that, but I just thought of that, and it's completely that way. I've been around. I was in just some seminars over the last couple of days. Everybody in there is from word of mouth, even though they're doing internet stuff or whatever. You know, so if you're making posts on Facebook, you're doing these things, and that's all you're doing, well, you're about 7% effective. If you can actually get a meeting with somebody, and we're going to talk about how to do that without even making a phone call today, some pretty shocking statistics. So we're going to get to that. This is huge, word of mouth, and I want you to realize that people like that they know, like, and trust, they're going to listen to you. I mean, if one of my friends says, hey, Steve, check this out. I'm going to go check it out. Hey, Steve, this movie's cool. Hey, whatever. I'm going to go listen. I'm going to, hey, go to this store, get this. It's recommendation. I mean, another example, I just, unfortunately, had to get some glasses, right? But how did that recommendation come?
Because you're an old man.
I know, I'm so old. And so I was in denial. So, you know, Deanna's here. So she's like, I was like, where do I go? I go Lens Crafter. She goes, I go, I don't know, Lens Crafter. I was like, Deanna, you telling me to go to Lens Crafters is like you telling me to go get my vitamins from Walgreens or something, right? So she's like, you're right. That's horrible. I would never. So she just did some research, and she goes, hey, call this person. And boom, I called that person. The next thing, I actually know the person. And so it's all recommendation. There's a lot of eyeglass places to go to around here. I mean, you could probably just drive down the street and find one. But it was a recommendation, and that's exactly why this business is the key. That's why it's word of mouth is key. So
it totally is. And I want you all to think about how you came to this business. Everybody right now, I'm putting out a challenge. While you're watching this training, how did you hear about ARIIX? How did you hear about Slenderize? How did you hear about Nutrify? Was it someone recommending it to you? You check it out? Did you see someone doing something? There was a personal connection there. However it was, I promise you, that was how this came about. And your team's going to duplicate what you do. They're also going to duplicate how simple it is for you to share with them what you're doing. So now let's talk about one of our brand highlights. This week we're going to talk about Slenderize. There's nothing else like this on the planet. There is nothing more effective than getting someone's health and their weight in check so quickly, effortlessly, with using the entire system. And I'm a believer in the clinical system. But what I'm going to do when I turn this over to Steve, I want you to see the winners of the Slenderize competition. This is all of the winners promoted by ARIIX. You know these people. Use their stories. They would love for you to reach out to them and ask them how they did what they did. I did not know Heidi Hansen. She and I have become friends through comments on Facebook. She reached out to me. She's incredible. Connie's listening to the training right now. So, Steve, let's talk about Slenderize, and I can go back and forth between these two slides. Let's spend just a couple of minutes really on how revolutionary it is, what people have their hands on.
Absolutely. I went through the same program. You know, I did the drops back when they first came out, and I kind of did whatever I wanted to do, and I lost some weight. But, you know, I really didn't, like, kick it into high gear like you did. And then when I basically put all of these products together, which is like what our clinical trial really is, you know, you put these products together, and I got down to my high school weight without doing a bunch of crazy workouts other than walking. And so I proved it for myself that it works. And even if you don't need to lose a lot of weight, you need this exact product line right here. You need all of this stuff. You need the optimals because you need those 40 vital nutrients every single day, twice a day. You need those. You're not just going to get it from your food. So if you don't have the optimals and building your whole structure around that, you're crazy. You talk to Dr. Strand. I was just with him in Hong Kong. You've got to have that. You need the detox. Because all the stuff we've ate, all the things we're exposed to, that's why you need Restore It. Even if you don't like the way it tastes, just suck it down and use it. And then the meal replacements, just those alone, will save you from going, you know, going out to get a muffin or whatever you might be, a little breakfast sandwich. You're going to have a better meal with that, and it's, you know, there's not a meal replacement shake or anything like that that is as effective as the ones that we have. And I don't even know anybody who's made a cleaner shake. I've looked at a lot of shakes. They put a lot of soy in there. I just saw another network marketing company talking about this great product they have. It's all based on soy. Soy is the last thing you want to have when you want to lose weight because it creates estrogen. And estrogen, I don't know, guys, last time I checked, we don't want estrogen. Hello, man boobs, we don't want that. And so, when that happens, you basically stop all fat burning. So you don't have to think about this, but there's technical stuff why this program works so well, plus the drops, the way they turn your fat burning principles on, all of those things. You don't even need to know all that. Just like, man, I did this and I got these results. Keep it very simple. But this is what I love about what ARIIX has created, this opportunity, Woodson, is we have Slenderize. We have other things coming, guys. We have, like, we have other brands that are coming that you guys are going to freak out about. And this is not a one-trick pony coffee company, which is kind of easy to build those. Like, it's like faster sometimes, but they don't have the results that we have and change people's lives the way we have. And that's what you want. If you want a residual income where you can make money for years on end, you've got to have a broad spectrum of products that actually affect people. And that way you have you have people that are affected by the products like this, like life-changing. I mean, you guys didn't have to go work out crazy to get these results. You got them through the Slenderize program. So that's really the brand highlight that I talk about, and I know that's where you've been getting the most results from.
And here's what I want to put a challenge out to everybody, guys. Pictures really are worth 1,000 words, and in this business, there were thousands and thousands of dollars. And here's why: these pictures have generated more business for other people's teams. I'm talking across the board because the proof is in the pudding. But there are some incredible transformations out there that weren't even submitted. And this is where I'm calling y'all out. So if they're on your team, if they are within you, get them to ARIIX University. Because if you, for whatever reason, didn't want to submit it to the contest, submit it to us, because we are going to blitzkrieg social media, the marketing, and we're going to do it for everybody. This is a completely neutral training series. The more pictures we get out there, the better. Because pictures are why people have P90X sitting in the cellophane on their coffee table or on their fireplace mantle for years. They didn't buy it because they wanted to work out like a maniac. They bought it because of the before and after pictures on the infomercial. I can tell you because that's what I did. This is something that anyone can transform themselves. They can decide to work out or decide to get a healthy lifestyle, maybe get more energy, but it all revolves around photographs. So we want those. We want to promote your team. And if your team is new and maybe you don't have those stories, we want you to build off of other people's success stories. We're trying to help you build your business. So that's something we're doing here at ARIIX University. Send us your photos. We will showcase them. There's some really cool stuff coming out. So now we're going to switch gears to somebody very near and dear to the ARIIX community. She's very near and dear to my heart. I actually met her on the ARIIX cruise that we won, that we earned through building an ARIIX business. She and her husband, that was one of their dream vacations, and they were there enjoying the cruise as well, and we got to know each other. I never dreamed what would come out of just being friendly, hanging out on the dance floor at an 80s party, And so we've got Christy Oki with us. The reason why we have her with us today, she is the top ambassador right now. It is like a dead heat within the top 3, and she does this business part-time. She has 2 grown children. She has 4 brand new adopted children under the age of 6. She runs a very large home health care company. Her husband is a very well-known broadcaster, gets up at 2:30 in the morning every morning so that he can broadcast the morning news at 5 a.m. And they are dedicating full-time efforts through part-time hours and are creating a dynasty here. Christy, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can, and I know you guys had a big Halloween extravaganza with 4 trick-or-treaters and cold weather.
4 trick-or-treaters having meltdowns. So.
Well, we're so glad that you're here. And here's what we want to do. Steve wants to ask you a question or two, so do I, and we're going to crunch this down time-wise, but you are the #1 most requested question. Tell me about her. What the heck is she doing? Does she have a cape and invisible jet that Steve and I get across the board? So this is our chance to let people know how you do what you do and what you're doing. So Steve, fire away.
Well, Christy, can you just, I mean, there's so many things that run through my mind here. Can you just tell us a little bit about you so, like, people get to know who you are? And because I've got people all over the place. They've seen your name up on the scoreboard, but they don't know you. So can you just tell people a little bit about you and, you know, kind of your version of how you got started here? Can you do that?
Okay. Basically, I've always been in sales, but I own my own home health care company. And in the last 5 years, maybe, well, 18 years ago, I was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr virus, which is a virus that attacks your immune system, and you catch everything, and it just wreaks havoc on your body. And so for a long time, I've been really just not feeling good. And then I have some other additional ailments that are affecting my health with having to do with my back and my hips. So the last 5 years, I was feeling like I was like 60 years old, and I'm way too young to be feeling like that. And now we've adopted 4 small children, and I need my energy. And so what I need is I needed a magic pill. One, I needed to lose weight. We needed to feel better. My husband was at his heaviest. I've been heavier. I have always fluctuated in my weight. And so I needed to take control of that. But on the cruise, I had no time for a multi-level marketing company. In fact, a lot of people feel like that's a bad word, you know, stay away from it, stay away from it. They take it, you know, there's just been bad publicity. And so I had no interest in that. But when I had met these 3 crazy women on the dance floor and on the cruise, and I say that, you know, they really weren't crazy, but we had a really good time. But the thing is I got to know them. I knew nothing about them. I did not know their names. To me, they were North Carolina, and California. And we just saw each other on the dance floor. It seemed almost every night of the trip. And on the last night, we started talking. I knew I was aggressively going to be starting a diet program when I got off the trip. And that was just going to be my New Year thing, and I knew I was going to have to pay to get it done because I need help to lose weight. I cannot do it on my own. And so that's when I started talking to Woodson. Woodson did not approach me for the business at all. In fact, I pursued her. We all just started chatting, and she said, actually it was Deanna that said something about they have a weight loss product, and I was like, okay, I'm all ears, tell me about it. And one thing led to another, and I started listening. It was a really great story because there are also all little signs that have happened leading up to this. So and I'm a faith-driven person, so I really feel it was God leading us to this direction. Because when you add 4 children to your family, you think about college, you think about all the expenses. Now I have girls. Girls are more expensive than boys, it seems. And so I have to prepare for that. As I'm learning with the girls, let me tell you.
Can I interrupt you real fast?
Yes.
Like, I mean, you know, I go out to get new clothes. You go out and get 4 new kids. I don't know what's going on around here, but that's crazy. Like, you know, like I just went and got groceries. You know, you're going out getting 4 new kids to add to your life. It's amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
it was not meant to be 4. It's quite a story, but it ended up being 4. We wanted 1 little girl, 1. and we got 3 and a boy. So as John would say, we didn't want a family, but we got a little family. And
That's
so
duplication.
A duplication, and we're doing it over. So kind of crazy, but you know, God gives you what you can handle. And I'm not going to tell you things have been easy, but I will tell you what I decided is either I'm in or I'm out. And for the first few weeks of this, I felt the most amazing that I have felt in a long time. And I started getting my life in order with my body. And when you start to get your life in order with your body, then everything around you starts to work better. The way you think, the way you do things, you're happy. And so I knew I was functioning better. My mind was functioning better because I was feeling better and I was losing weight and everything was just falling into place. But I remember many times going to my husband thinking, are we crazy? Because I can barely handle my life now, and now to add this on. And at this time it was part-time. It's just a little part-time gig, you know. It was basically I wanted my product and I wanted to get it so I didn't have to pay for it. And that was my goal. But because I am sales-minded and I do see things past a certain point, I'm like, okay, wait, you can actually make money doing this. My first commission check was $1,000. And maybe I shouldn't say that, I don't know, but I was like, wow. Okay, but see, I approached this as getting a return on my investment. I laid out $1,500. I wanted to see my $1,500 return, and I wanted to see it fast. Because if I didn't see it come fast, then how can I expect to teach others to get it fast? And so I was going to do what
Christy.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Woodson, and I didn't understand everything, and I'm still learning. But I went to Woodson, and I'm like, show me how to make the money very quickly. I want to get a return on my investment. And she said, focus on 4. I said, okay, I'll focus on 4. Now, the whole ASAP bonus, I totally forgot about the ASAP bonus. That was all new. So when I got my 4 within the first 4 days of me doing this, I was like, oh, okay. And then the next Friday, I got $1,000, and because of the commission and ASAP. Then I had gotten 2 more and so forth. And anyway, I was like, well, this isn't that hard. And I've sold all elite packs. And I don't know, seriously, I'm like, how did I get somebody to buy $1,000 worth of product? And sometimes people go out and sell Mary Kay, and they can't get them to sell they can't sell mascara, you know, or you know what I'm saying? So I was like,
here's what I'll say to you is, you know, you got your results, started getting belief, but one of the things I want everyone here in ARIIX to understand is what happens here is, and we're going to spend a couple more minutes here, is basically when you guys met on the cruise, this is the critical step that a lot of people will just gloss over and they just forget it, is that you guys had multiple meetings on the cruise, which is like, you know, social, out on the dance floor, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You had no idea what Woodson did for a living, and Woodson didn't pounce on you like, oh my gosh, there's someone that I could talk to, and just all over you like a cheap suit, which would turn you off and not make you interested at all. And a matter of fact, the other way around, she actually made you curious by learning more about you, finding out what's going on with you, and that's the key step that everyone messes up in this business. They just post stuff on Facebook, and they think everyone's going to pounce all over their post. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And you know, it's the same thing in person. So that goes back to learning about you, and that's why Woodson, you know, is doing awesome, and she's leading by example, because she goes out there and she actually doesn't just talk about it, she does what she talks about. She learns about somebody, and that's what she did on the cruise. I just wanted to bring that highlight out, because without that, none of this happened. Without that move right there on the cruise, it wasn't a move, but without that situation, without that sitting there and learning and finding out about you, and then, you know, creating that curiosity, without that, none of this happens. None of this greatness happens. You're not on stage at the ARIIX, convention. We're not on this call. None of this happens if Woodson doesn't do that one step. And that's what I would tell you guys. Stop, slow down, learn about somebody, and it can happen very quickly. But this is the key critical step. When someone says, "Steve, you're so good at this business," I say, "Oh, be quiet. I actually just practice this stuff and I learn about it." You know, and I put it into practice. So there you go.
I agree with that, because the thing is like, you cannot look at everybody like a target. I don't want to be looked at a target. Do not look at me as a target. I hate that. And so other people will hate it too. Be genuine and fellowship. You know, I don't know if anybody's religious there. I've always been taught to fellowship. You know the person for who they are. Have time to make a friend. There's plenty of time and plenty of room in your heart to make a friend. You know, I'm not saying you have to be best friends, but you know what? Just make time. And so we just had a good time, and then a development of kind of a friendship, trust. I mean, we hardly spoke. It was like it was kind of weird actually, but it was like we were all connected. And maybe because my husband wasn't interested in dancing, and I went up there and I had to make new friends by myself on the dance floor, and they were nice to me, okay? So, but then that developed a friendship, and by the time we talked about it, and Woodson was like, I'll call you when I get off the ship and we'll connect, and I'm like, no, we need to talk before I get off the ship, because if you never call me, I will always wonder how to lose weight. So I had her in my cabin till 1:30 the night before we left in the morning, and we chatted. But the thing is,
it's true.
It is.
I didn't want to be too pushy and be like beating down their cabin door. So when I pulled away, it's like if you press your hand against someone else, you press, they press back. The minute that you drop your hand, their hand comes forward. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened.
I've had many times when I'm talking to somebody and they're like, well, I'm not sure, and they were kind of hem-hawing about the whole thing, and I'm like, you're right, it's probably not for you. The second I tell them it's called a takeaway close, the second I say, oh, you're right, it's probably not for you, guess what? I just took something away from them, and they don't like that. And so then they kind of crawl back, okay? Now, she was kind of putting me off because she didn't want to come on too strong, and I was like, no, because I know plenty of salespeople that don't follow up. And if you don't follow up with me, I will always wonder. So it just kind of landed up that way. But she took the time to fellowship. Now, when she started talking and she said, okay, let me introduce this, all of a sudden the light went off. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, I think this is multi-level marketing. And I looked at her and I said, is this multi-level marketing? And she goes, yes, with a twist. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at her. I said, because I like you, I will listen. Now, I hardly knew her.
Ding, 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 ding,
but do you
because
see?
I like you, I'll listen.
I like you, I will listen.
Trust.
It's called trust.
And that's exactly what she said. And I said, just bear with me. So I didn't lie about it and say it wasn't, but I wanted her to know it was different. But we had a fun rapport going on, so I was like, it is, but with a twist.
Right.
And, so with all that being said, this is what people want to know. We started in your living room. You invited a handful of people over. Yeah. We didn't have anything fancy. It was a computer, ARIIX presentation, and Skype. Mm-hmm. And we would talk about products. You talked about how you felt. I would just Skype in, answer questions, go over some key elements, and we started building the business. And that has turned into a standard meeting. And now we had to move it into a conference room because it very quickly outgrew your living room. But you were consistent. I want you to just really quickly talk about, there were some weeks when nobody was there, and there were weeks when 10 people was there. But we saw it through. We kept a schedule. We were committed to seeing it through thick and thin, the highs, the lows. And now, I mean, your business is cranking. So can you just real quickly talk about how you got people in your living room, how you get your reps to bring people now to your conference room, and what we're doing?
Well, I think, okay, the first answer is how did I get people? Well, I felt so good, and I had a lot of energy where I was like, oh my gosh, you guys need to feel this. And I know a lot of people that, I mean, women especially, we get used to waking up feeling bad every day, and then we forget what it feels to feel good. And so that was my main thing. It was approaching friends to, hey, just come check this out. You know, no, there's no pressure. I just want you to know what we're doing. And we waited for 1 month. We started having people over right away, but people started not seeing a difference in us until about a month. And so we teased it a little bit on Facebook, like, oh, I lost 2 pounds. Oh, I lost. People would say, how you doing? And I'm like, oh, well, I'll tell you on this day, you know. So I kind of teased it to get the energy momentum going. But and I will say, you know, I have quite a few Facebook friends, and then my husband does too. So, but he has to be careful because he's on TV and all that stuff. So, but anyway, so then I consistently told John, we need to do this every week. If we are not going to be committed to this, then we need to get out now. I remember that was probably about a month in, and I said, because after a month you get a little lazy. You're like, oh man, I put so much effort in this, I haven't done, and then, but see, also our reputation and integrity is behind it too. I cannot go promote something for 5 minutes and then say, oh, I changed my mind, because that makes me look fickle or not. It looks bad. And then you see that a lot of people is like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then they do it for, I don't know, 3 months, and then they're just like, they totally get out. And you're like, no, 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 it's consistency. It's like the rabbit in the hare, I mean, not the rabbit in the hare, the turtle in the hare. The turtle kept going. He could have gotten really, really frustrated because he was the slowest, but he kept going and going and going. And so if you consistently do it, whether it's one person, whether it's 3, whether it's 12, everybody's in love with big numbers. Let me tell you, my one-on-ones are the best ones. They buy the most. They listen the most. They feel like they have the whole, all your attention. So I don't get frustrated on the one-on-ones. I enjoy them very much, actually. So now the group settings are really nice when you have a lot of energy there. So, but anyway, consistently, every Tuesday night I have a meeting. And at the beginning I was having them like 3 times a week because I was so excited and so exuberant. But then I'm like, I cannot surround my life around 4 little kids. I own 2 companies, over 50 employees. I can't do that. So I have to do it once a week, and it is on my schedule every week, no matter what. No matter what. If I'm out of town, then we don't have it. But no matter what, we have it.
This is incredible, Christy, and I'm telling you, this is gold. And everything as far as what you're saying, we want everyone to know, Christy, she's going to be helping us with this. Christy has achieved a top tier in a global business with 0 network marketing experience, doing it part-time, and it's all because of character, integrity, and having a strong work ethic, and she made a commitment to herself and to her team. And if there's nothing else you get out of this presentation, I want you to hear what she said, because I don't even think she realizes how unbelievably profound, etched in granite this is. She said, everybody's caught up in the big numbers. My one-on-ones are gold. They listen the most intently. They buy the most product. They have the most success. There's way more of a connection, which totally, she has no idea, sets up the rest of this training. That is precisely what we're going to be talking about on how to build a strong business. And Christy, this is just the beginning for you. From the standard that you've set for all kinds of new people coming into the business, to how simply your business is duplicating and how strong it is, to the person that you are, the mom that you are, the wife that you are, the business leader that you are, just the person that you are. The whole company is so thrilled that you're a part of what we're doing, and myself especially, and Steve, and I just appreciate you being on this training with us today.
Well, thank you. I mean, when you said yesterday, you said, you're a big deal, and I'm like, I am not a big deal. I'm just this mom that really has some desires to eventually spend more time with my children and not work all the time. And I love this. I have met the most interesting people and made the best of friends. It has been a joy, and I'm looking forward to more growth.
Yay! Well, we are too. We love you to pieces. Okay, this is going to be fun. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Steve, what you talked about, I'm going to let Steve set up the play for a proven system that we're going to get people to start doing that's going to take some anxiety over getting people to appointments. So, Steve?
All right, well, here's Christy. I just want to say once again, I love it. And I don't think any of us were looking for network marketing. I don't even know if you can go looking for it. I don't even know. I need cash flow, and I needed to. And you know what? The first time I was ever exposed to it, it was done the wrong way. It was a trick. They tricked me. So just realize that. That turned me off for a few years. Okay, everybody. So just realize that. All right. And I just want to acknowledge that. Plus, like you said, ARIIX, we're nice people. So. We're nice people, actually. So that's the key. And we're just everyday, ordinary people. Like Woodson says, I'm a big deal. I'm like, I'm not. Even though I I could be labeled as a big deal, whatever, right? I don't think of myself that way. I didn't get into the Founders Club because I was walking around, I'm a big deal. I was doing the work. And so I just want you guys to realize all of that and be excited. So what I wanted to do today is really give you a gateway, give you something that can completely change your business. I've been proving it to myself. I don't just go and find something and say, well, that sounds good. Let's run you down a rabbit hole so you never return. Like I was in network marketing. You can get a lot of people that come on and give you a lot of great ideas, but they never actually prove that it works. And then what happens is it doesn't work. And so then, people stop listening to you. So what I wanted to do, and hold my calls, just kidding, but anyways, that's all right. What I wanted to do with you guys today is, a friend of mine is one of the top trainers in the whole industry as well, besides, Sim Sales and other folks, and I was listening to him talk, and his name's Eric Worre, and I don't mind mentioning his name. Some people don't like to say, oh, don't mention people, we don't want to expose people. I don't care. If someone comes up with something great, then I'm going to acknowledge that they came up with something great. I'm not just going to steal from their stuff. I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's what we should do. So back it up one slide, Woodson, and I'm going to run through this. This is a lot of text.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is a lot of text. There's going to be a lot of me talking to you. Woodson can interrupt me here and there, but I'm just going to run through these because this is a lot, but I want you to sit up, pay attention, and again, this will be recorded, all right? So, you're going to go back and be able to go through this. Okay, so some of the biggest challenges, and Woodson, if you guys can, mute out whoever else is there or whatever, that's awesome. So this is the deal. The biggest challenge in network marketing is how to get people over their fears to go out and talk to people. And inviting someone is the gateway skill. It's basically the skill that if you don't go through that gate, well, you're never going to make it. Like if Woodson doesn't invite Christy to eventually look at the business, it's never happening. If she doesn't have that conversation, none of this great stuff and all of these lives are affected. And so this is where a lot of people stay stuck, right? And I've seen it. I've tried to train it multiple different ways, and I have trained it. But this is where most people struggle in this aspect, right? It's really the whole going out and talking to someone. So go ahead, next one, Woodson. And people go into two states. I've done trainings. I've actually done training, and let me back. Maybe this is where I'll say I'm a little bit of a big deal. I don't know. But people have I was in network marketing prior to for ARIIX for 12 years. I guess 12 years, whatever, full time. And I used to train a lot of phone calling. Like I used to do, and people would say, Steve, I don't know, like you're not so great at this, but you're awesome at like talking to people on the phone and getting people to like sign up and all that stuff. So that was something I learned. And what I figured out is it's not easy to get other people to do that. And it's just not. I mean, we could sit there and say, well, you can do it, and it's real fast. It doesn't happen fast. And so what happens when you bring someone new into the business and you say, you know what, write down your list of people and go talk to them, everyone like freaks out about it. And one of the big things is people either do a couple things here. They're going to either they're going to verbally puke all over their prospect and act desperate and needy, and that doesn't go well. So they call up and they say, hey, I'm excited. You got to do this, blah, 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 and they tell too much, and it's just horrible. Or they act scared, intimidated. Well, I'm kind of, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's going to work, but you know what? And so they call, and the person's like, man, if you don't believe it, I certainly don't believe it. Call me when you're making money. So go to the next one. So this is the kind of stuff. There's a lot of fear around this process and getting people to actually, move forward. So hit the next one, Woodson. All right. All right. Or they go to pick up the phone, like they're actually going to do it, and then they stop and think, maybe I'll call them later. I don't want to look stupid. I don't know if I'm ready. I need to learn more about the product. I don't know what to say, et cetera. And so they come up with this excuse machine, and then they go into, well, when I start to get some results, then I'll talk to someone about this, right? Or they call that person who they thought would join. I just know that Mike's going to join the business. I mean, completely. So they call up Mike, and they talk to him, and they get peppered with like 15 questions, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. I don't ever want to go through that again. That was like really super uncomfortable. No thanks. And they're done. And that actually, all of these little things here can completely stop someone. And this is why a lot of people, when they join, they just completely shut down, and they go into, well, I guess I'll just take Rejuvenex or something, or maybe, whatever. And so it stops them. And so this is a big problem. And so what we have to do is, you know, we have to create a way to get through all these barriers, and there is a way to do it. And it's going to freak you out a little bit. Some of you might already know this, but realize once we have an appointment set with somebody, once we can get someone onto the one-on-one like Christy was talking about, we're pretty good because we can tell our story, we can talk, we can show a presentation, we're good. But teaching someone the inviting formula in like, you know, the first meeting is really tough. You know, we teach people to be in a hurry, we give a compliment, you know, there's direct approaches, you know, you go right out to talk to someone, you go indirect, you say, yeah, I don't know if you know anybody that might be interested in something like this. So we have all these approaches, but it's not easy to get people to do this. But however, we have a way today, and I've been proving it, and it actually is working. And this is a game changer for you today, and I really want you to take this to heart. So go ahead. All right.
Sorry, I blew up the picture, and it went through my Word.
I don't know what's going on. You know, like it's all right. So I'm going to follow along with. So basically, the way people have, you know, communicate. Think about it. Today, times have changed in the way we communicate. It's rare to even, what's your ringtone? Like, that's so lame now. Like, no one even cares about your ringtone. And if you hear a phone actually ring, you're almost like, dude, turn your phone off. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, right? And so, basically, the ringtone, we're not even going there anymore. We're getting updates, but basically,
this is crazy. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. It's called technology. If we, you know, we're just using it. So, if you notice now, you just hear buzz, buzz, buzz. People are just texting, right? So go ahead and go to the next one, Woodson. And so things have changed in the way we communicate. We're not even making a lot of phone calls anymore. And you know, if you call someone, this happens all the time, you'll call people and it will go right to voicemail, and then they'll text you back and say, what do you need? I mean, this is kind of like what our kids do. You know, they don't answer the phone. And matter of fact, there was a guy who wrote a post recently that if you leave a voicemail now on someone's phone, it's actually rude. I don't know if that's really the case, but people will just be like, hey, what do you need? Boom, boom. They'll text you back really fast. And so really the world has come through a text versus leaving voicemails, listening to them, etc. So keep on going, Woodson. And so in network marketing, we all like to go around with the buzzwords that, you know, we don't have a boss, you know, work for yourself, you're your own boss, blah, 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 and all of that stuff. And that sounds good, and it's actually true, but we do have a boss. And the boss actually is our calendar, all right? And so
can I just say something, Steve, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Everybody right now, I don't care if you have zoned out on Steve's run-on sentence, and I'm just kidding. What you have got to understand is this is the Achilles heel of anyone being self-employed or a home-based business, and specifically in network marketing. Your calendar, your time management, and managing how well you fill up your time so you can be productive. So I just want to just give just a call out, stop the press, listen to what Steve is saying, because I'm telling you right now, this is measurable. I've seen it in my business over the last year, but we can actually, just this week, Steve and I have measured what has happened monitoring when people fill up the calendar. So go ahead, Steve. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is gold right here.
Absolutely. And so, you know, if you want to learn what actually to say, and by the way, I just had someone say, I thought we were going to have, like, what to do. Yeah, guess what? We are. We're actually listening up. So listen up right now, because this is the key. If your calendar, right, so this is like I just pulled this calendar off of, like, my Apple, like my Mac. You know, do you see any appointments on there? I mean, I just pulled it up, and so it's empty. So if your calendar is empty, and you can move on, if your calendar is empty, then your business is basically stagnant. If you don't have appointments set up, then your business is stagnant, okay? So the goal is to start to fill up your calendar with appointments here, there, and everywhere. So if you have a job, you have to be organized. Like if you have some other businesses, you have to be organized, and you've got to start setting up your lunches. You know, you got to start setting up your after maybe on the way home from work, you got to set up appointments. And how are you going to do that? So if you have a lunch break, meet and share the business. If you're going to sit down for coffee, share the opportunity. Sit down after work, share the opportunity. So your job is to fill up your calendar, not just you, but for everyone in your organization. So don't just think of you, think of everyone in your organization needs to start setting up your calendar with appointments, okay? And one of the best ways to do it is really nowadays is through text messaging. And I'm going to show you what actually I've been doing. And it's really, what's really cool is everyone in your group can do it. It's simple to set an appointment. It's fast. And it creates action, right? And then it creates more results. And I'm telling you, like, I don't even know, so here's what I've been doing. And I'm going to show you the tactics of actually what to text and what to do and all of these things. But if I was to tell you, and you can go on, Woodson, if I was going to tell you, okay, what will create more activity? Me sitting down with a new person and saying, hey, you know what? I need you to call, I need you to write down 100 people, and I need you to call 100 people, all right? And they're not going to do it. I don't care. Like hardly, you know, I want to be negative, but my results on that are very few people are going to sit there and do that. And it's going to take a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of excess training and all of these different things. But if I said to someone, hey, text 100 people, right? And what do you think is going to create more activity? Texting people or calling them? It's going to be texting all day long, okay? So that is one of the big things, huge. And so when you're thinking about a new rep, all right, get them to call 100 people in the next 3 days, they won't do it. So you can keep going with them.
Hey,
Steve? Yep.
Steve? Hey, real quick, Christy just wanted to add something to what you were saying real quick. All right, here she comes.
Okay, good.
Hey, Christy.
Yeah, I was just going to give an example of something that happened to me the other day. I have an individual in my group that is really, really excited and wants to get motivated and go, but she's not quite sure what to say. So locally, since she's local and she's here, you know, I said, let's pick a day, but my day, you know, because I'm very busy, so I said, let's pick a day, and you have half a day with me. And I know not everybody can do this, but I said, I want you to line up 3 appointments, you know, or set up a few appointments so that we can go visit with them. And then you can learn what our approach is. And so she said, great. So she's already got 1 set up, and this was I just talked to her on Thursday. She's got 1 set up, and we're supposed to go out next week. But I gave her like the challenge, and I know would like to have a list of 100 people and so forth, but sometimes that's so overwhelming. And I said, she works with a lot of physicians, okay? So I said, who are your closest physicians? And so she starts naming them off, and I go, okay, these 3. Let's pick those 3 and see what we can do. She's like, all right. So sometimes narrowing it down to just a smaller goal will help.
Yep, and we're about to do that.
Anything to get somebody moving. Yeah, Christy, that's perfect. That goes right in line with with everything that we're doing. It's just a call to action, getting people to do something. Because the first move is the hardest one to do. The start is what stops most people. So if you would get everybody on your team to go out and shoot for 10, shoot for whatever, they get 3, they get 5, they get 7, they get 1, that's more movement than you would have had. So Steve, all right, here we go.
All right, and so when you're thinking about a new rep, you know, get them to call 100 people in 3 days. They ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care. Like, I don't see it. Like, very rarely. Okay. Instead, tell them to send text messages, 10 text messages while you're sitting there with them, and their phone. Sorry, I spelled "their" wrong. But their phone will start buzzing back. And of course, you can help them with the meetings, right? I mean, you don't just send them off to do it by themselves. You can always, you know, you can set up a meeting. I'm going to talk to you about the tactics of this. But if you were to sit there with a new person and say they're excited, they just got started, you said, you know what, send 10 text messages, and we'll tell you what to send here in a sec. If they were to do that, and then maybe even send 100 text messages, not in the next 3 days, but what about in the next 30 days? You're going to see some amazing results. And it takes longer to learn all the inviting. We still want people to learn the inviting formula. We still want people to do that because that's going to make your meetings really effective. That's going to make you effective on cruises when you're there with people or wherever you might be and meeting with people. All of that is going to help. But texting versus calling, here's what happens. It's easy on the phone. If you call on the phone, you're going to get a lot of questions. It's just natural. Hey, I want to, you know, if I was trying to set up a meeting with you, you're going to get a lot of objections. Texting, you get almost none. You almost get no objections, okay? Only objections you're going to get are someone who has huge network marketing brain damage because maybe they were in 50 things or they've tried 10 things or whatever, or you prospected them, hello, 150 times, and so They might have a little bit of resistance, but I haven't seen any of it in what I've been doing, okay? And people know pretty much what I do, all right? So, and it's fast. And this raises a new person's confidence up. You try to make 10 calls, most won't do it. You're going to get a ton of voicemails because guess what? People don't answer their telephone. They hardly answer their telephone at all. And it's, you know, and so that when they get voicemails and it doesn't go through, they're not very confident, okay? And I have a lot of people that say, I want to start on ads with people I don't know. I'm like, well, you're going to get your head kicked in and it's not going to go well. So, you know, you might as well go the other route. And so if you send 10 texts, 5 people say yes right away, you've got some movement happening, and it's happening while you're sitting there with a new person. And the new person's like, oh my gosh, I think this will actually work. You know, like people want to know what we're doing. Like they said they will meet with me. You know, I've got a business here. I've got something that's moving. I've got something that actually is working, and it results are much faster. And so this is why it's a big breakthrough, because we've been talking. We did, you know, I've done trainings where for 3 days we taught nothing about how to make phone calls. And it was super uncomfortable for people, and it was a lot of work. And sitting there with someone, listening to their phone calls, critiquing them, I mean, I've done that. I had people pay a lot of money to come to these trainings, and I'm telling you, duplication on that is unreal. It's not even close to duplicating. It's not something that I would recommend. And you know, a lot of people a couple of years ago, you hear me talking like this, you'd be like, "What are you doing?" But I'm just telling you, I'm just being honest. It doesn't work. Okay. So this works, all right. And so this is a revolution in the network marketing industry. Start with, you know, so what I would recommend as like some of the tactics is start with A on your phone, anyone not in your business, and even customers. You can start with those as well. And then I'm going to show you exactly what to actually text, give you some ideas, and, you know, so go ahead. So text message is best. And by the way, Facebook messaging is good, but this is better. If you're on a Facebook message with someone, it's still good. Get their cell phone from them. Say, hey, you know what? Do you have a number I could, you know, text chat, reach out, something like that. So, you know, text message is best versus, you know, like Facebook message. A Facebook message can still work. However, text messaging is going to be the best, all right? And Twitter messaging, Instagram messaging, whatever, all of those things, text is the best. We're going to talk about what to text. Give an idea of what you're going to have the meeting for, handle any objection stuff if there are any that comes up, and then meet and share with the person what's going on. And this is really the simple tactics, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and say, you know, what to text. So this is what I text. Coffee, question mark, you know, like with somebody like, yeah, and then say, hey, get together for coffee next week. These are just the things that you could text. Hey, what's your schedule look like next week? Or what's your schedule look like? Hey, can we meet in the next couple of days? This is one I just sent to somebody. I said, I text them, I said, hey, we haven't talked in a while. What are you up to tomorrow? Like, when can we meet? When can we meet for coffee? I want to run something. You know, and they're like, oh, how about today or tomorrow? How about tomorrow? They're like, great. I said, hey, and so that was the first thing. So they responded back. I didn't call them. I didn't leave a message with them. I just texted them. So what does your schedule look like? By the way, just talk like you normally talk. You know, just say, hey, what are you doing tomorrow?
Don't get weird. That's my biggest thing. Don't be a weirdo.
Dude, I mean, if you talk like I talk, I mean, you probably need help. But if you talk like I talk, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing tomorrow? And they're like, I don't know. What's up? Hey, let's meet. I want to run something past you. You know, okay. What time? Boom. And that's it. There's no 50,000 questions. I did this. I have neighbors. They could have come over to my house. I met them at Starbucks. They're both realtors. And I meant, what are you doing tomorrow? And they kind of know what I do, but not really. And so, you know, then you have to give them the reason, right? So this is the first thing. You text, coffee, you know, available for lunch. What are you doing Saturday? Whatever, right? I mean, I think you guys
I just got a question. Oh, yeah. I just got a question. People are loving this. And then they said, Woodson, define weird. So I apologize. Here's what weird means. Be yourself. If I were to call someone that I know well, or if I were to call Steve, my friend, or text him and be like, Steve, are you available for coffee sometime this week? He would go, is this Woodson, or did somebody steal her phone? Because I would, so when you're, however you communicate with these people, if it's a professional relationship, keep it professional. If it's a, dude, was that coffee? If it's a casual, then you, so that's what I mean by not being weird. The one thing about this business is when you invite or when you do, your nervousness sometimes can shine through in your voice, in your text, in your whatever. So just be yourself the way you would be with that person in your relationship environment. So that's what I meant by that. So I apologize, Steve. I didn't want to interrupt you. But
just be normal. Like, that's what you're saying. Like, look at your text message. Hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing today? What are you doing? Whatever. Just be yourself, okay? And just send this first message first. Don't send this message and 3 other lines of, I want to meet with you about a blah, blah, blah. Don't just send this. Hey, are you free next week? Let's get together. Okay. Yeah. What day? Boom. You schedule that up. Just, don't freak out about this. Just get the first thing. Coffee? Question mark. They respond back. Sure. Good. Next one. Now we'll go to the next part. I mean, I hope this is clear. This is pretty clear, right? Woodson, am I going too fast? I know I'm like talking and I got forward.
No. I know we're trying to get this wrapped up to within an hour, but yeah, we're almost.
Well,
done.
we're gonna, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this wrapped up into a business. And so if it doesn't hit an hour on this first one, well, guess what? We've had superstars on here. We got Woodson, we got myself, and we, have a couple questions. We're just gonna clarify and get you guys into action. So we're gonna knock out through this. So then give them an idea. They're gonna say something like, "Sure, what's up?" And you say, "I have an idea. I want to show you that I think would find interesting. And I have a project I'm working on that I'd like to share with you. I have something I thought you'd find interesting. I have something I want to share with you." And then they say, "Okay, cool." So you're not going to get a bunch of questions, okay? The only objections you get is the person has a bunch of brain damage about network marketing because you've prospected them 400 times. And so, if they said something like, this is a very rare occasion, that they said, "I'm happy to meet with you as long as it's not about network marketing or your business." And so what do you do with that? Okay. Say, "No, hey, no problem. All I want to do is get together. I'm not trying to sign you up for anything or anything like that. I just want to catch up." So if you get any objections at all, just go, "Hey, don't worry, it's not about that at all." Now, Steve, what are you talking about? It's kind of about that, right? Well, guess what? What you need to do is you need to go and build a relationship with this person. And so back up and then use the inviting formula, which is get the greeting, learn about them. So sit back down when you go. So if you meet with them at Starbucks, you would say, "Hey, so good. What have you been doing? How are the kids doing?" So back up, be a real person, and learn about them, and don't mention your business. Don't mention all of these things. And as they start to open up with you and tell you about what's going on with them, they may ask you about your business. They may not. They may ask you. If nothing else, you sat down and made another friend. All right? And if you've got them talking openly and it's kind of fun, say, "Hey, you know what? You mentioned that thing." And this is where you can kind of clear your name from bad performance in the past. Just telling you straight up, from bad performance in the past, you can kind of clear your name up right here. Just say, "You know what? You mentioned that thing about, like the network marketing, or, like what, have you felt that I was pressuring you too much? Have you?" So you can take ownership of whatever, even if it's not even if it's wrong, right? Just take ownership. Say, "You know what? I really apologize. I'm just really excited about that, and I certainly won't mention it to you again." But that kind of thing. So, and it's almost like a takeaway there, but at the same time, you're taking ownership of anything you might have done in the past that wasn't awesome. Okay, just letting you know. And so you can do that. This is key. Only if you get these objections. Okay, so like here's what it would be. Like once you have them talking. You mentioned that thing about network marketing. Have you thought I've been pushing you too much, et cetera? So build a relationship, be real, an opportunity to talk about that objection only if it comes up. If they, if they start asking you about your business a little bit, say, "Yeah, it's been going great. What have you been doing?" That kind of thing. All right. And then if you can bring up the objection that they had on the text, and you just say, "Hey, you know what, blah blah blah," and talk about it. So there you go. But most of the time, this is not happening. It's not happening with me. Okay. So what we need to do in our business is create more conversation. The more results you'll get more results if you have more conversations in your business. Now, the conversations aren't on the text message. The conversations are when you're sitting at Starbucks, at the restaurant, something like that. That's the conversation. And, and don't make it such a big deal. Sit down, show them ARIIX presentation. So this is how mine went. I mean, the one I did yesterday, I was talking to the folks, and I just basically was like, "Hey, we're going back and forth, we know about each other, having fun." I said, "You know what, guys? I wanted to share something with you because, you kind of know what I do, boom, boom, boom." And then I just went through ARIIX presentation. I fumbled through it. The freaking iPad fell over. I mean, the whole thing. I'm not even perfect at it. And I played Deanna's video. Turns out the girl's type 1 diabetic. Okay? Hey, you know what? There's an interest there for product. Good. Maybe there's more interest in the business later. Who knows? But at the same time, bam, just by doing that one meeting, customer, all right? So there you go. Possible customer, right? So then we're following up again and meeting with them tomorrow. But had I not just sent a simple text message to meet, it wouldn't have happened. So keep going. I think we're close.
Oh yeah, we're good. This is great. People are loving this. It's funny. The message boards are lighting up right now.
Yeah, so we're almost done. So again, guys, the tactics review. Text message is best, not Facebook Messenger. Get their cell phone so you can keep in contact. What's the text? Coffee. You freeze it this week. What's your schedule look like the next couple of days? Hey, coffee next week. Hey, lunch next week. Whatever, right? So, and then say, I've got something I want to share with you. I got, something like that. Whatever would be normal talking. All right. Don't say I want to talk to you about ARIIX. Don't be doing that. Just say I've got a project I'm working on and I wanted to share it with you. Okay. And then you meet and share. And if it means you need to bring someone into the meeting with you, okay, you can talk about that as well. You can do that. Okay.
And this next slide, and Christy Oki wanted to make this point, and I'm going to speak for her, but this is where you build trust within your team. This is when they know you're in the foxhole with them. This is when they know that you've gotten your fingernails dirty and you are not telling someone what to do. You're showing, you're sharing, you're leading by example. This is how you build momentum, is what's right here. Let's get some appointments. Let's do this together. I just wanted to make that point, Steve. You did that with me. I do my best to do that with my team. There's some amazing leaders on listening right now. Keep doing what you're doing, and if you're not doing this enough, be doing this with your people.
And you know what? The first one to prove it with yourself, all right? Do it right now. What I'm going to tell you to do, we're going to get off here in a sec, but I just want to give you some ideas of numbers that happen. And in the next 30 minutes, I want you to send 10 text messages to people that aren't in your business, a customer, whatever, and say coffee, whatever that is. That's the first thing I told you to text, okay? And once 10 are sent and confidence grows, then you can move on to 100, all right? Then you're going to say, wow, okay, good. And don't text too much. Text exactly what I said. Get a meeting with someone, all right? And if nothing else happens, they don't join your business, you've met with 40 new friends, like reacquainted with 40 people, you've got 40 good relationships built, or, 10, right? And eventually more and more. So you've got 10 possible appointments with people, and you can become, build your relationship. If nothing else, that's going to make you better, all right? The more you present, like the ARIIX presentation, the better you're going to get. You're going to be able to talk and sit down and learn about somebody and just be a real person. That's the key. Everyone wants to duplication. I show someone this, and then they sign up. Well, that program destroyed about 2 years in, okay? I'm just telling you, those little fast growth companies, they also have the other side of it where they get cut in half a couple years later, all right? So ARIIX isn't the one-trick pony. ARIIX is a company that has multiple divisions, and it has multiple appeals to people, okay? So I would show ARIIX presentation, dive into your own personal thing, learn about the person. Does that make sense to you? And you can have someone else call in and validate, and we'll go through that. So this is what I would say to do. My challenge to you guys is in the next 30 minutes, send 10 text messages. Don't call people. Just send 10, all right? And if you send 100, think about your group. Then think about your new people, all right? Think about what that would actually do. All right, if I have 4 people and they all sent 10, well, that's 40 new exposures, right? Wow, that could be huge. So depending on your relationship with those, again, go ahead to the next one. The next 72 hours, you could send 100. You could send 100 text messages. That would be my real challenge. In the next 72 hours, all of you gurus on here, people that want to make a difference, you really want your goals, you want your dreams actually to be accomplished. Start here, okay? It's right here. This is it. I mean, this company is right here, ready for you to do this. And over the next 72 hours, send 100 text messages, okay? Depending on your relationships, again, the thing that's going to, if I just had a prospect that was like 6 months ago, and I can't even remember, like I look at their name, well, who is that? And then I send a text message, and I think that's going to go well. Like, that's not going to go well, all right? So depending on your relationships, send 30 to, you'll probably, out of 100, you'll probably get 30 to 50 appointments, okay? So let's say it's 40. And out of those 40 that sit down with you, 3 out of 10 become customers, so kind of round that up. 1 out of 4 becomes a rep. So that could roughly be, depending on the relationship with your text messages, you'll start getting results like Christy does, all right? 12 customers, 4 new reps, and if nothing else, 40 good friends that you sat down with, and you're going to get better, and you're going to get more repetition. You can't build this business trying to shoot the basket one time a week, okay? It doesn't work. I've got an air ball. Okay, my business is an air ball. My whole calendar is empty. So let's start doing this. So if you had 100 reps, 100 techs, you could get 30 to 50 appointments by yourself, possibly depending on your relationships. Let's say 40. But if other people were doing this, that's like 400, 120, and the numbers can go very big on this. And so I would suggest you use the technology that everyone's using today to do this. And texting is way easier. The resistance isn't there. I mean, I've got dynamos I'm meeting with this next week all off of doing text, okay? So, and I didn't have to cold call. And actually, people say, Steve, you're awesome at making phone calls. I got to tell you, I'm just going to come out of the closet on this. I hate making phone calls oftentimes. I don't like it. I mean, it's brutal. Like if you said, hey, call 100 leads, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to find everything else to do but do that. I'm just telling you, okay? And maybe I shouldn't admit that stuff, but I mean, but this, once I built relationships with people, text messaging, boom. So I think the less interaction I have on the phone with someone, the better it's going to go. And once I'm in person with them, then I must have my communication qualities in hand. I can't show up all scraggly. I can't show up unprofessional, which is the communication qualities, right? I have to be interested. I can't be distracted by my environment. I can't be checking my text message while I'm talking to them. I can't be looking at people walking by as I'm talking to them. Those are the communication qualities that are in the boss and the inviting formula. That's where that comes in, and that's where you can do very, very well. But you got to get some repetition, and this is going to get you repetition, and this is something you can teach the people. So I know we went over Woodson, but I'm pumped up about this, and
No. Okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. For this challenge to work, we're doing a call of action to all of you. The people that are watching this right now are the leaders in the field. And I know that you were listening to this because you wanted to kind of test the waters before everybody promotes this to their teams. And the feedback's been incredible. Thank you so much. It's just warmed my heart. The messages that are coming in on the chat, on the text, Steve's receiving them, I'm receiving them, Christy's receiving them. But here's what we're doing. This is a call to action for a couple of reasons. First of all, the time of the year. People already are starting to plan their health transformation for the new year. But this is when you get results with your key leaders now, both in business and in product usage. And thank goodness we get paid on volume because you're going to capitalize on both. And then those people getting results, what are they going to do when all of their friends are excited about what they're going to be doing right after the holidays? This is how you're going to build momentum to start the year with an explosion. And some people are going to create explosions right now, but it starts with you. We're calling you to action for you to call your teams to action. And Steve and I are both putting this on the line. We've got our own little challenge going on with each other. And so I just want you to know we're practicing what we preach. We're going to be bringing a brand new training next Saturday, and it's going to be incredible, and it's going to have a lot more how-to. So with that being said, we want to hear from you. What do you want us to cover first? What do you feel would make the biggest impact right now for your business? And we're going to weigh all the responses, and we're building a curriculum just like a university. We are going to have a curriculum. It's all being documented. It's all being recorded. It's all being posted so that you can use these tools in your trainings, plug your people into them, everything else. But it starts with what we get done this week. So the challenge is going out there. How many appointments, how many one-on-ones, how many of you can get your reps to bring people to your presentations, and let's measure this accurately. We're going totally statistical, and that is what Fred Cooper wants. So that's what we're going to show him. And Steve, I want to thank you for pulling so much of this documentation together. This training is awesome. I love the idea. Christy, you are so instrumental in everything that we do, and I'm just tickled pink to be here. So Steve, are we over and out?
We're good. We're good to go. And everyone, this is not just a one-time, or we started texting this week. No, we're doing this. And I'm telling you, from people that are in my organization, I'll bring them on. They do a lot of communication through text, even in the Facebook Messenger. They get that. They get on text, and they're getting a lot of results without even getting on the phone. But, you're going to get people, like Christy said, the one-on-ones are the best presentations. That's where you're going to get really good at this business.
Yep.
Is getting those one-on-ones. And this is a great way to get you setting appointments without a bunch of voicemails, without a bunch of resistance. So go right now, grab your little smartphone, because we all have them. You don't have a flip phone, come on, what are we talking about? Get your smartphone out there and start sending text messages. Look at your people and say, hey, and even if you're intimidated by the person, who cares? Do it. Do it right now. I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to do the rest of mine. I already have my appointments filling up next week. And if I can do it, you can do it as well. So let's go.
All right, let's roll. And we will send a message out to where this will be posted. It will be on YouTube, ARIIX University. You'll be able to find it if you look up ARIIX University, and then we will come up with a title for it, but it will be posted today. It's being formatted as soon as we hang up, so I'm just letting you know we are all over it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Christy. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, especially those of you overseas rearranging your schedule for this. So this is so excited. All right, this is just incredible. It's exciting. I'm reading these texts and chats that are coming in. We love everybody. We're signing off now. Bye.